take a hit of my nose spray earlier today, so I am feeling good there.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Was it the real nose spray or your air quote?
Oh, like
spray.
cocaine?
Well, I don't know, whatever it is you would use. I heard a joke the other day that I don't know if it's appropriate, but it's the this woman who goes, I don't know about that whole Me Too movement. I don't know why you would say pound me too.
No, it's not appropriate, and it's hilarious.
Pound me too. Oh, that's great. When I was a kid, it was called the pound sign.
Exactly.
Yeah, and sometimes still is. I think when you're on the phone, they refer to that as the pound sign.
They do.
Yeah, pound me too.
Oh man.
I mean, how did I not come up with that?
Well, what happened is that probably lots of people came up with it.
Yeah,
but nobody was willing to say it.
yeah. Everybody said that is inappropriate humor.
Yes,
And we're not standing for it. And you are now banned
Yeah,
from
you should-
all the
you
things
should
that you've ever wanted to do.
lose all
Don't know who you think you are.
your prior success privileges have now been revoked.
We should be careful about that because that's not really true.
Yeah.
In the morning with Doug and John. Morning, John.
Good morning, Doug.
Hey, it's Saturday,
It is Saturday.
August 4th. I think I may have called this August 3rd on the
On the what?
Facebook Live feed.
Oh, okay.
But I am tired today.
Oh, me too. Low energy.
Pound me too. Yeah, low energy. I feel like if Donald Trump we're taking us on today to be like low energy Doug and John.
Right.
He'd
Like,
give us a nickname.
like those guys sound like
The bully on the playground.
a dying battery.
And I don't know why I'm so tired. Sometimes, I might have had a glass of wine or three the night before, but that didn't happen last night.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I did have beer for dinner. But it was
Just beer.
but
Well, that would explain a lot,
I
Doug.
should have thrown some food in there. I should have had some food. What was I
At
doing?
least mix it up with a Guinness or something and get some vitamins.
That's great. But anyway, glad to be here with you, my friend, on
me-
a Saturday morning.
As I am with you, Doug.
And I want to just say again, I've said it to you privately, and I want to be as public as I am private. Your job is really getting in the way of us doing this in the morning.
Tell me,
It's your this working 9 to 5 Dolly Parton business you've got going on.
boy,
Killing me.
My pursuit of the perfect day is just gone.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just okay. It's not even an option.
And
anymore.
is it the job itself, or is it just that there's a job itself?
Well, I wish I could be like George Costanza and and just go to a job. But no,
What, you're one of those people that would like when they say, "So, John, tell me about your job interview." John, tell me about your weaknesses. Well, I tend to be overly dedicated.
Yeah, right.
I give too much of myself to my work. I'm too selfless. You're one of those like I can't work just a job.
No, but it's things that come naturally to a lot of other people, like I don't know, getting to places on time and responsibility.
Yeah.
Those are more challenging to me, and so I've had to adapt, and that's not without some personal strain and some sacrifices that I've had to make. And then this week we had I had an event where like all the remote people flew in. And so we had something Tuesday and then Wednesday and Thursday. Like on Wednesday, I went to a group go-karting experience with all of my coworkers. And these guys are like super geeks. I mean, total like...
Did they enjoy their outing? Did you take a big bus and everything? And
Yeah, we took.
did you have buddies? You had to pair up to make sure you had everyone.
No, we didn't do that, but but it was
camp.
This weird kind of bro time that I'm not completely accustomed to. But I think what it is, so I feel like I really have had to like put my sevenness out there this week. with like not a whole lot of sleep or private time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm the
Living
deficit.
on the edge.
I'm on a deficit. I'm gonna go to one here pretty soon. I feel like.
Oh, you're dipping out.
Yeah.
What does a guy like John do to refresh himself over after a week of work?
Well, just doing anything else other than that, I think, is But like today, I've got to do a thing I got to train a radiologist from a 2 to 5.
Wow, you're working 6 days a week.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just couldn't be more proud.
And then like
couldn't be more.
And
proud
they're like,
of you.
well, hey, if you work the weekends, you could just take time off during the week, But then I feel like, does anybody remembering that I work 4 hours on Saturday when I leave at 4 instead of 5? I don't know. I don't know how these things work. I don't know. I've got no game.
I don't know. You should just tell everybody all the time. I worked on Saturday. I'd be that guy. People are like, "Wow, John, I'm not really your boss."
Right. How many copies do you want? And good luck with that Saturday thing. Anyway, hey, I don't mean to complain about it.
No, you've got work.
Yeah, so
you got work.
Yeah, that's just the pattern of my life.
I've been. I've had a busy week too.
You have. You've got many plates of spinning.
Yeah, I'm trying to do my little contribution to bolster the equal branch of government to contrast the destructions of democracy being inflicted by Donald Trump. I've got a little rant
is that
on
written
that, by the
down
way.
somewhere?
No, I might have just been mumbling that over and over and over as I fall asleep or talk to strangers on public transportation. But I'm doing this Vote Common Good, and it's so much work. We knew we were into a very ambitious goal, and it's taken all we got.
Is there a lot of other hands in this?
There's a
on the wheel.
Yes, there are. There are many hands on the wheel. Sometimes, as in projects like this, too many hands on the wheel.
Well, those are just people who are interested in what's going on. No?
Yes, yeah. And this isn't the case with this group of people, but in some situations, that is also people that just have impulse control and are grabby.
Oh,
so keep your hands over there. You don't have to be, talk yourself through it.
Well, tell me about it. What's going on? What do you?
Well, here's what it feels like. I'm a thinker on the Myers-Briggs.
Yeah.
Do you do the Myers-Briggs?
Yeah.
I'm an ENTP.
I'm a. I'll think of it in a second.
Yeah, you're an EF.
I'm an ENFP.
ENFP.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an ENTJ, and so thinker. I'm high on the thinking side.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll tell you my feelings first, so I can get those out of the way.
Okay. Please do.
Move on to something useful.
Well, aren't we on the thinking wedge of the Enneagram as well?
Yes. Yeah. 7s and 8s.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's this shirt that I saw when I was running in a race one time that says
"World's okayest runner."
Yeah.
I saw that shirt.
It says, "You've got what it takes, and it's going to take all you've got." That's a nice one. That's a nice play on words.
Right.
And I feel like this is one of those. It's I've got what it takes. Our whole team does. We know what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to execute this. We've got what it takes, and it's going to take every living bit of it. And so anyway, it was a big week. We're trying to raise lots of money, and that comes in fits and starts. And it's funny when you're working.
How much money do you need, Doug?
$650,000.
I can give you 65 of that right now.
Okay, I'll take it.
Okay.
I mean, there was a day a month ago when we said we're not pursuing small money. We're not pursuing $1,000, $5,000 donations.
Okay.
Because we need top dollars.
Yeah,
That's what we need. We don't need little dollars.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get those later. And the analogy that I was using was, we need the bricks. Those are the big dollars,
Yeah.
and then the mortar.
Yeah.
In between is the smaller dollars that hold. That's how we're going to build this. Well, we're just in the mortar business right now.
Right.
So we're just
That's
mixing.
Great.
We're just
great.
mixing mortar. So I'll take your $65.
Yeah.
In fact, if you have it literally right now, I'd take it from you right now. So anyway, yeah, it's going quite well. But it's just a lot of work. But we're going to barnstorm the country. 31 congressional districts that we know are flippable.
Yeah.
And we are going to invest in the voters there who have said, I can't be a Democrat, I can't be a Republican anymore. I don't feel like a Democrat. And we're saying to them, Be a common good voter. Vote common good this time. Do that thing. Don't tie your identity up in a label.
Yeah.
But by God, vote for a Democrat. Would you just this once? I mean, just once without being them? Like, can you set aside the I am what I eat and set aside the I am what I vote for and just use your vote not as your personal declaration of self-identity?
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking to you, Bernie Sanders voters.
Oh, boy.
Can you use it as a tool in democracy to bring about an end, to bring about an outcome? Can you? Can anybody do that anymore? Or does everybody just have to have every single thing they do be a full-on self-reflection of their...
Yeah, I got to say, like,
You see, I'm a little ornery.
yeah, right.
Forgot to lower my chair, by the way, in the video down to equal height levels.
Okay, thanks, Morton Downey Jr. You have to Google that shit, people.
Yeah, totally.
I feel uncomfortable with the extremes of of everything. So I don't know why.
Well, one of the things I don't understand, and you could help me think about this.
Mm-hmm.
What there are certain things people do in their life that, for whatever reason, start to become. Boy, I feel like I had to flex my pec there so you wouldn't think I had man boobs while you were brushing off the dirt on me.
I felt the change.
Did you?
And that was a little impressive. I would say.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I engaged it. I don't know. Immediately, I went to that. John was, for those on the podcast, no, John
was wiping toast crumbs off of Doug's shirt. Good Lord!
It's become official. It's bromance has now turned into middle-aged men that are caring for each other's needs.
Look,
like,
there I am on the TV doing it,
like gorillas,
grooming each other.
What's great is there's one person watching.
All right, no, you said I could help you with something, and you just left me there, and I'm like curious as to
yeah,
how I could be helpful.
Yeah,
in
would
this.
you like to help me with this?
No, but I just want to know how I could.
You want to know what you're saying no to?
What I'm missing, right?
Yeah. It's like the privacy policy of our relationship. You want to read through it before you click accept. There are certain things people do that transition into becoming their identity for all of us.
Yeah.
And some things you do don't become your identity. I think it changes for some people.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody asked me very recently, we're talking about running and my hip recovery and stuff, and he said, have you always considered yourself an athlete? And it was a curious question because I thought, no, I played basketball and I run and I played college basketball and stuff, but I don't know. I didn't go to I'm an athlete identity.
Yeah.
Relationship.
Well, and that's strange, interesting because I think that's probably a lot of people's first how they identify you. Not even knowing you, you're an extremely tall person and you're not like fat all over. And so you must be a basketball player or you must have played basketball, which is true.
Yes.
But it's not something that you self-identify. I just, as knowing you, that's never like to talk about sports, you would have to ask you about it and pull it from you. Although there is a competitive side of you, so I think that that sports experience did contribute to your makeup in some way, but it's not something that you identify as.
Yeah. And so for whatever reason, it didn't turn into self-identifying for me. People do this with lots of things they purchase, like they're
a Harley owner.
Sometimes with some of the more classic Americana automobiles.
Yeah.
I'm a Ford guy or a GM person.
There's a clique of those Mini people, aren't there?
Oh yeah. Oh yes. And I own a Mini, but I wouldn't. So maybe I don't as easily self-identify. Well, I do in some things. I don't know. And this has been a big thing in religion, right? Am I a Christian or not? Like, well, can you just have beliefs and rules of understanding the world and processes you live by without a label?
No.
So it all comes up for me around this voting thing because people will be like, well, I'm not a Democrat. I'm not going to vote for it. Like the idea that your self-identity is in your action. I am a Democrat because I vote for one. Now, here in Minnesota, we have a guy running for the Senate who doesn't want to be identified as a Democrat, Richard Painter. He wants the Democrat endorsement, But he's like, I'm not one. Bernie Sanders, back to that one. He wasn't one. Other people are. So I just kind of hope that in the voting thing this November 6th, even if someone says I'm not one of those, they would vote.
Segue to the pitch.
Do you see that? They'd vote for one of those. And if you go to voteCommonGood.com and click on Donor Box, we're serious.
We're like the pitch to the
right to the fundraiser.
Yeah, to the
and those of you at home,
the plate.
which I hope you're all at home while you're listening to this. I can't imagine
where you would be.
We need to figure out a cough button for you. What do you think we can do?
I don't know.
I'll figure that out.
Well,
it's going to be my next.
Good, because I've got
project.
like little interest in figuring it out. Hey, regarding that identity thing, I think this is part of it, and this is also part of believers in the good book. Is that I think after a time you just put so much time and money into that belief that to suddenly do a 180 on it is, it would be to admit that you had been a fool for such a long time. And so there's not a lot of people who are, I put all these years into being a supporter of Hillary, and now, or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think that's a part. There's a part of this kind of a pride thing. It's like why you won't smoke weed because
not a pothead.
Well, that's a Rubicon you've created that you refuse to cross.
I used to be a pothead. I'm not one anymore. That's why.
We should do an episode.
Okay.
Where
when you're not high, let's see what that's like for you.
When you'll take a shot
of what?
Whiskey.
Okay.
And I'll do a hit.
Oh, of what? What variety? Where would you get this? Where are we going to go? We're going to fly to Denver and do this?
If we have to.
This is this is not going to become an illegal enterprise. This in the morning with Doug and John.
I guess.
Do you know who watches this?
Well, one person apparently.
Me either. I don't know.
Right. Anyway.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
And then we can.
There is a podcast that came out of, I think, Colorado, one on marijuana, a marijuana podcast. You familiar with this one? And they would be high oftentimes?
Oh, yeah. That Doug Benson does a lot of that. But it's not a very good podcast. But anyway, and then there's probably a million weed podcasts out there. But
there's a pot calling a kettle black. Yeah. Two of us. We should do it. We should do a whole episode of podcasts we don't think are really to our standards.
Radio Lab? What's up with that pablum?
I mean, really, the amount of time. How you doing with your 7 producers? What are they doing all day? Coming up with sound effects?
Someone in the background crinkling a piece of cellophane to make it sound like fire burning.
Hey, I've got a couple of things that are some good news and some disquieting news.
Okay. That's interesting because I thought a good feature for you would be, does Doug care or not? And then I would just read a bunch of things that are happening.
Oh.
And we'll see if you care or not.
I like that.
Yeah.
I'm going to write that down. I don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to throw that piece of paper away when we're done. But somehow the act of writing. Do you feel that way, that the act of writing it down puts it in your brain somewhere?
Yeah, I mean, it does not exist if it's not on a list for me. And if I lose that list, I suddenly feel unmoored from the reality of
really?
that. Yeah, like, I don't know how I'm going to do this now. I lost that list. I don't know if I can get the energy to create another one.
Well, here's a little bit of good news, at least as I like to think about the world. The National Rifle Association, do you know these kids?
Yeah. I'm on their mailing list.
They are in financial woes and about to file bankruptcy and can't say that their financial, their organizational stability is going down.
I don't believe it.
You don't?
I don't.
You think the lawsuit they filed, so you know about this, they filed a lawsuit against the governor of New York saying that his use of his office to say that companies in New York should stop supporting the NRA has caused them not to be able to maintain insurance, to get banking services, and they're saying they're in real trouble. You think that's not happening? You think they're bluffing us?
Yeah.
I love it, John.
Is their financial information? Is that public? Are they the type of organization that does not need to share that stuff?
They have to share. They have to share some things.
Okay.
I don't know, but they overspent $46 million last year.
Because
what I think happened is the Russians have cut them off now. The Russians have been funding that operation for They fired their president.
What, the really excited guy?
No, that guy's like their spokesperson.
Oh, the Lapierre
or whatever.
Yeah,
the Canadian.
Yeah.
He so they have a separate president, and they have this very structured order. Like for 2 years, somebody is a sub, and then somebody's like the second to the president for 2 years, and then you're the president for 2 years. And one of these guys they cut out, and they stuck in the presidency.
Who?
On sort of short notice. He didn't even know it was coming at the meeting that he walked into where he was elected president.
Who?
Oliver North.
Oh, jeez.
Oliver North, the guy who was pardoned because he conspired
guns
against the United States of America. I mean, he's like Mike Flynn. It'd be these generals from the Army, that whether it's Petraeus or Flynn or Oliver North, these guys.
Yeah.
I mean, my whole life has been riddled with a bunch of like the finest in the military, the 4-star generals that turn against our own country. He's the guy. Anyway, sub point. But a whole lot's going on, and they're going under. But what is sort of fun about this? So whether the story's true or not, this is still fun. People on the internet are sending their thoughts and prayers to the NRA.
Gosh, no kidding.
They're trolling them with a series of tweets that say things like, thoughts and prayers to the NRA as they make their way through bankruptcy.
Because it seems like I read an article or something, I don't know, 6 months ago, a year ago, I don't know, about them getting record, I don't know, maybe it was record membership or something. Maybe that doesn't equate to a lot of cash in the end. I'm not sure, but
well, I think what's happened is
because you see a lot of this kind of the media or whoever is beating up on us. Look how this is unfairly affecting us, and then that causes an outpouring of support, and then they just get stronger and stronger. I don't know.
Yeah, no, you might be right. This sort of whole conservative Trump. They're being mean to us.
Yeah.
The bully with the alligator tears, saying, and this is the same thing with Jeff Sessions in the religious freedom business and all this. Like the people that are wielding some kind of real power and authority and exclusion over others are now saying. So the White House calls the press the enemy of the people, the fake news, and all this, and then they press the secretary, the spokesperson, the press secretary, on this, and she says she won't say no. I don't believe that they're not the enemy of the people and the fake news, and she said because at the correspondence dinner you brought someone in who made fun of me and how I look, and the press has people saying that I should be harassed. Like you're being mean to me, so no, I'm not going to say you're not the enemy of the people. And the scary thing about that crowd, the Trump and Sanders and these people, they're equating how they're being treated with the state, with the country. In other words, if you say something mean about me, you are an enemy of the country. That is that is like step one of totalitarianism. What you say about the great leader is what you say about the country. It's unbelievable. But to your point, the NRA might be saying, like, that works.
Yeah.
Get yourself out there as the victim. Put the governor of New York as your foil and the banking people. But I don't know. They filed a lawsuit.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have people looking at their books and stuff to be able to judge.
To prove this.
Yeah, so.
They're in pretty deep. If you've gone to if you were just tweeting out, we're having a hard time, they're being mean to us and doing it with your membership. But when you file a lawsuit and saying we currently do not have operating insurance, like they can't hold meetings because their insurance company in February sent them a letter that said we're canceling your policy and we are unwilling to renew it at any price.
Is it because they just view a room full of people with guns as being a dangerous?
Well, it's because of Parkland.
Oh.
The public opinion turned against the NRA so strong in their response to Parkland. And they're going after those kids and maligning them. That the industries that have to support them said, I mean, not only the ones who were giving them money, like Delta Airlines and all these other organizations that give them money so they can access their groups, but their back-end business support, their bankers, loans, insurance, those people said, we're done working with you. I mean, that's
that's
where the governor of of New York has the capacity to
that's
cut your veritable legs out from
that's
under
the
you.
only real methodology of change. Is to cut off that lifeblood of money.
Yep.
Those things. Hey,
Well, thoughts and prayers.
you remember in True Detective?
Yes,
Remember that?
I do.
So you remember when the governor put together a task force for satanic cults?
Yeah.
They thought that these murders that were happening were part of a satanic cult, and at this point, the fellas knew that it was not that.
Yeah.
And then they bring in a reverend who's leading it and stuff. That's what this whole Jeff Sessions Religious Freedom Council seems like. Like, is this really it's so adventure of missing the point?
Yes.
Is this really where energy needs to go?
Yeah, unbelievable. The Justice Department, the White House has until last Friday had not pulled together a committee of people to talk about election interference, but they pulled together a standing group to look at votes that were fake and religious freedom groups. They managed to get those together, and then they had a 30-minute meeting about election interference by Russia, and then move on. Unbelievable, these guys.
So, while they are forming this group to protect religious freedom, we are banning religious people from certain countries because of the religion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that is really striking, isn't it? That they're arguing for religious freedom in this country and then telling people that they can't come to this country because of their religion.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's all just a smokescreen,
So
it's ultimately going to protect people like you, Doug. So, I mean, white privilege is real.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm comfortable enough with the Constitution granting people the freedom of religion. I don't need an extra task force. I don't need another set of policies. It's ensconced in the fabric of the founding of this nation as the amendment number 1. I went through the amendments the other day.
Yeah.
You ever see anything so nerdy?
Yeah,
all 24 of them.
Yeah, I've looked at them before, I think.
Yeah, it's a really interesting endeavor.
Yeah, very kind of zigzaggy around there.
Like a whole bunch of them happened in 1789. There was like 6 of them. There were the early ones at the founding, and then these these fixes, and then it like waited all the way until whatever the last one was. And I think it was like the right to vote. No, what was the final one? I can't remember the 24th.
It would be one of a civil rights or something like that, I would think.
Yeah, I can't remember right now. Because I was being snarky with someone the other day. Like when someone quotes a Bible passage to you.
Yeah.
And then you say, but my favorite is the next sentence. You know what that is, right? And they never do, right?
Right.
For all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, but the next sentence says,
Yeah.
but I love freely. But, none of us know all the next lines of our favorite quotes, right? So when people are like, oh, I'm a defender of the Second Amendment, I'm like, what about the Fourth? What about the Eighth Amendment? You big fan of the Eighth, or did you just stop at 2? Like, are you a fan of all the Constitution, all the amendments, or just the one? Are you an obsessive compulsive? Do you only commit to the one and not to all of them? So then I had to say, like, ooh, what is the Eighth Amendment?
Do you know what it is?
Yeah, I did when I looked them up.
At that time?
I remembered it when I read it. So anyway, I was being snarky. NRA.
Hey, so Doug, the other day, I got a story to tell you.
Okay.
There were fireworks going off, some sort of like during this whole 3-week period here in Minnesota. Every little community has some damn festival going on that's ridiculously named after. It's something that a stranger would not have any idea. Like around our area, there's like Duck Days.
Yeah, the Raspberry Festival.
Yeah.
Kind of nonsense.
They got like a potato thing up in Brooklyn Park or whatever. So anyway, they have all these festivals where there's carnivals and stuff, and then they have fireworks. Not the city of St. Paul, of course, but so there are fireworks going off.
Okay.
Somewhere you can hear them off in the like pro stuff. And so anyway, I had this memory come to me. I went and I told Robin this. I said, I have this memory of going to this fireworks display. I was by myself. I was not with my mom, which is, not rare as a kid in the 70s.
In the 70s, no. There weren't parents.
And so I remember it's dark, okay? And we're kind of like, there are these stands.
I'm getting scared.
And they light the firework, okay? And one goes off, boom, boom, ooh, wah, boom, boom, ooh, wah, boom, boom. It doesn't go up.
Yes.
It goes up like maybe 6 feet and then falls. Then suddenly, and then
it's blown up on the ground.
And these shells are like shooting at us, like hitting the ground, bouncing a couple of times, then like explosions
into the stands.
There's there's smoke all over because these things are going off, on the ground, and there's just flashes. I just remember flashes, strobes of these fireworks going off on the ground as the box had ignited. And
so you think this little one that went up then came back down and landed right in all the...
Yeah, that's what I perceived.
Lit them all on
fire. That's what the memory,
Wow.
And so there's smoke, and I just see like lights going off in the smoke, and then out of the smoke, figures of people would be running, grabbing their kids, and the smoke would trailing. I mean, it's screaming, and it's absolute pandemonium. I have this.
That is such deep trauma.
I had this memory, and I remember I said I think I was like between like 7 and 12 years old. I remember I was, not very independent, or perceived as being independent. So I'm like, boy, that felt so real. But is that just? I don't know, where did that?
Yeah.
So I looked it up. 1973 in St. Louis, at the Hill Day Festival in St. Louis. There's this place called the Hill, and it was like an Italian enclave. That's where you get the best Italian food. And they would have this carnival and everything, and they had these fireworks. And I looked it up, and there's a newspaper article.
Oh, fantastic!
50 people injured.
Come on.
In this, and how I explained it is exactly what happened. One of the things had a short fuse. It didn't go up, and they have a box of the other shells. They usually have a piece of canvas over the top of it, and they remove that canvas to take out another shell just for a few seconds. But in that time, when the shell went off, the guy pulled the canvas off, and the shell went into the box.
Oh my gosh!
Yes, and it just and then I went and I asked my mom about it, and she's like, "No, I don't really remember." But then about 15 minutes later, she came back and she goes, "You know what? I do remember. We used to go to that Hill Day Festival, and then you were about, I looked it up. I was 7 years old in 1973 when it happened."
Had you remembered this story before hearing the fireworks? Like, had that rolled around in your...
It would be a memory that would like visit me just every couple of years. Like, boy, I remember that,
yeah, sure.
or I have a memory of that happening. But then, like, I never, like, it wasn't something like, the great fireworks massacre of 1973 that everybody knew about. It just kind of faded into obscurity. But anyway, I was like, and it's you can find the actual, just look at Hill Day firework disaster. I
bet you'll tag it in the Facebook post.
Yeah, I could do that. And there's like an actual clip of the newspaper article. And when I pulled that up, I had this such weird deja vu vibration happen. Like, wah, 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 that really happened.
Yes, and you were right back there emotionally.
Yeah. It was so. Anyway,
that's a great story.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, the other day, I went outside and looked at my application on my phone to see what the weather was going to be like. This was on Thursday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
0% chance of rain. Parked my car outdoors.
No.
Left my sunroof open. There was a full-on storm of, like, hail. Unbelievable.
This is a long period of rain when the sun was shining. It's just
it was, and I just thought you can't trust anyone else. Can't believe anyone. You can't trust anyone. This is all just a cold, dark series of.
Doug, no one's going to save you. Okay.
This is all just one unexplainable moment of tragedy followed by another. Life.
You need to follow those
rock.
Enneagram 8 instincts and not be controlled by that stuff.
Bury everyone. Well, the NASA people, you know what they're up to?
Well, not sending humans into space.
They're in the Uber business, I think, now.
Oh, okay. Well,
here's a headline. NASA announces
they're hustling over there.
They're like, hey, apparently there's no money in going to the moon.
Yeah.
Going to Mars.
And we tried the space ice cream and just didn't sell as well as we thought.
Yeah,
so.
right. Since that Tang bust of 1979, we haven't really had a brand that'll catch with the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Since I Dream of Jeannie went off the air.
Now the only income we got is from retro T-shirts.
So the headline here from National Public Radio, NASA announces the crew for the first commercial space flight.
Oh, I did see that.
They're running a taxi service is what they call it.
Yeah.
NASA has announced the names of the astronauts who will be the first people in history to ride to orbit in private space taxis next year, if all goes as planned. Really? That's it. Like, we can't even this privatization of all the good things that we could do in this country. We can't even keep space exploration as an us. We got to be like hustling with the SpaceX cats and letting people pay for a ride up to the it turned it into to my mind.
Yeah.
It's turned it into some sort of a carnival ride for the super wealthy.
Well,
it just is depressing to me.
Well, hopefully it's a carnival ride for the super trained.
Well, you should hustle those high school teachers up there. Remember that sad story?
Oh, well.
I think I'm still carrying some trauma about that one.
Yeah. SpaceX can't shoot their own people up there. It's like the government. They've got to be.
Yeah, they're like the taxi industry. Like, we got to license the guys that are going to fly the space dealies up. That's what I'm saying. They're like in the Uber business.
Yeah. I get your point.
I don't care for it.
Well, I mean,
it's depressing. It was a great human endeavor that we had going on. I feel like it's been sold out.
Well, yeah. I mean, it does seem like as we're spending so much in the military that there could be a lot of ways. There could be a lot of ways to kill people developed with our NASA research.
That's probably what we should figure out, is how we could kill people. Hey, good on the Pope for saying that no more capital punishment. That's it. No, the exception removed.
Yeah, I was
the encyclical of the Pope.
I was surprised by that because I had thought that maybe that was the opinion anyway. I did not know that it was not that, because it seems like a lot of there's always a priest or a nun at these death penalty protests.
Oh yeah, all the time. Yeah,
I'm sorry, Doug. I'm sorry.
It's their business. It's the thing. It's the thing they do. Yeah, it's really.
Or I could just descend into Nick Nolte here on the microphone if you want me to do that.
Let's try it.
Okay.
What people are saying on the podcast is, hey, just go through and edit those out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, those people can patiently continue listening. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you. Please tell your friends.
We've got our best people working on that.
That's right. We're going to ask the producers.
So apparently there was permitted in some instances.
The death penalty.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had some exception that they had worked out to keep the Warhawks in, which was if there's no other way for people to be kept safe, then you can use capital punishment. But they the Pope said, hey, okay, look, the exception clause here, we're going to remove it.
Hey, look, people,
which is a good move. I mean, a little late to the game, I got to say. Fran, a little late to the game. I mean, after the pharmaceutical industry in the United States has said we will no longer be complicit in capital punishment and will not sell you your the chemicals for your cocktail.
If those vampires say it's bad,
this is what I'm saying. That then you're coming in like Forrest Gump at the last minute to get yourself in the picture. Yeah, feels a little bit like that. But I'm late to the game too. I mean, I wasn't an active anti-death penalty person.
Yeah, I was really surprised I'm pleasantly surprised. because I always thought that was just a weird thing. Look, hey, I completely understand the idea that somebody does horrible, and usually murder, does something horrible, that just get rid of that person so we don't ever have to think or worry about them again. I fully understand that appeal. But let's not do that. Okay. I mean,
yeah, that's an impulse we should resist.
Right. So, so I always thought it was just kind of a bit hypocritical that a lot of Christians in the tribes that I hung out with, were very anti-abortion, but very, pro-death penalty. And I just felt that was just an odd balance that you choose to hold.
I was in a jail cell with a man that I really respect a lot on so many things, John Deere.
Is he Jimmy the Forger?
Yeah,
let me tell you,
no, John the Deere.
He got into some trouble, but he's a solid guy.
John Deere Hunter. No, John Deere and I, and he's been a long-term activist. He's a Jesuit. He's Catholic, priest.
Yeah.
Has maintained good standing, sort of, but he gets in trouble by the Vatican a lot for being a little bit out there.
Yeah, if you pace it out.
So he's against war. Like he gets arrested pounding on missiles over at the Pentagon. Sneaks in. He's got great stories.
Well, with like a ball peen hammer. Oh, that's
Literally,
great.
The whole thing, yeah, denting the side of it, and then getting thrown in the Husker Du, the federal clink.
Let me tell you, that's some ballsy Jesuit stuff there.
Oh yeah,
I'm going to go bang on a missile. With a hammer.
Well, yes, and I'm going to. If you can imagine what it takes to get to one of those things.
Well, I would hope that it takes a lot.
You were,
but apparently, a crafty virgin priest can do it. So,
supposed. He has to climb over a hill in a wooded area. Sneak away for
is he like camo?
No, seriously, yes. Wait for the guards to leave. Get through or over a fence. Scurry up. Bing, 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 bing. In order to get arrested. Like the guy is just as badass as they come. And we were there because we were protesting together the death penalty in the Supreme Court. And he finds someone like me who is not an anti-abortion protester to be totally inconsistent. So when I hear people say things to the anti-abortion people about the capital punishment,
you just kind of flip it around.
Yeah, you're like, well, yeah, and then and
I'm
also,
rubber, you're glue.
I'm also not against end of life assistance.
Yeah.
Well, he clearly would be.
Yeah, right.
So of the four, war, like killing your enemies, killing someone you're mad at, abortion, and end of life termination. Some people are against four of those, and some of us are only against two of those. And then they're like, well, you're a little half in,
right?
I don't think you're as pro this stuff as you'd want to be. No, we had a very full discussion, healthy argument at 2 a.m. about such things. But it's complicated. So I give a little bit more grace than some people do to somebody who could say, I'm against abortion and for capital punishment.
Did he ever pull the hey Doug, you bang on a missile with a ball peen hammer, then come back to me with your cute.
Well, we agree on the war side. It was just the other one.
Yeah.
But I am. Can we just talk about abortion since we're doing them all, since we're making the rounds?
Okay.
Many of the people that I know who are fervently against abortion are. When I have pursued the conversation with them, what they are opposed to.
Got to tell you, this is really difficult conversation to spin into humor. Just going to let you know.
Yeah, it's this. Yeah, we're going to.
But the filters, the pores are so small.
Right, take a pass. Take a.
The tongue is being bitted.
This is a pitch out in baseball terms. Don't swing at any of these pitches.
Right. Just,
but for the most part, they are opposed to legalized abortion with a fervency that's different than being opposed to abortion. In other words, they're not always working to help prevent abortions.
Yes.
They're working very hard to make abortion illegal.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a different that's a different argument. And so the argument around a Supreme Court justice is an argument to make it illegal. It's not an argument to stop abortions. And what's happened, especially with the religious community, is I believe, and I've talked to many people who will say this, they believe that there's something about that, the legality of that, of abortion in this country, that is the problem. That
Right.
it's legal,
Yeah.
right? I'm not saying that they don't care, but they very rarely are also working or engaged or know much about the process of helping people to not have those such abortions. So it's a real thing when you're in this conversation, because I think a lot of them are holding out that it is the fear of the judgment of God for bad laws that are part of this genocide, and that we've legalized it. So there's something in here where if you could separate in the conversation, like here's a hypothetical. What if it was legal but didn't happen? Would you be against it? Like if abortion was legal but there were less abortions, is that better than abortion being illegal and there being more abortions? Now, I know that can be a false argument for people, but it's a dilemma for some people. And if more people were pursuing abortions and having them, but we outlawed it, would you be satisfied with that? Because the moral argument, should you do it, is different than should you have the right to do it.
I see this as, that symbol. There's a name for it. For the snake is eating its own tail.
Yes.
In that,
What is that?
it is because of the failed Christian message that, or the failed Christian mission, that abortion is around anyway. Because if you were truly transforming lives with the zeal that you say that you have, or with the power in the faith that you say is there, then wouldn't there be more people would not want to do it because the message is so convincing. And then to your point of preventing the need for abortion, this is a put your money where your mouth is. I mean, the fact that there is not some sort of in-place network between all of these, and I'm just picking on the religious groups, we're talking about them, to where a pregnant woman could go to them and say, hey, I need to, I need your plan A. Okay, we're going to house you, we're going to feed you, we're going to take care of you, we're going to put you, in an apartment and, give you some sort of stipend to live on. We're going to pay for your medical care, and then, whatever assistance you need after that, whether it's, for adoption, and I know that can get pretty weird if a church is running that stuff, or, to keep that baby. Like there should be some sort of system where it's like there's always this option for a pregnant mother that the church provides.
Yeah. If you're going to be against the termination of the pregnancy, you should be making sure that at least the ones that are financially driven choices,
correct,
are dealt with.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, it's a big deal. And what I don't like about the reason I think that it takes the Lord's name in vain, the abortion argument, the reason I think it violates the commandment, thou shalt not take the Lord's name in vain, is because it uses in vain an argument of God for something that is not approached at the seriousness and legitimacy that it should, especially for like just your casual voter who's like, oh, I vote on abortion for the Supreme Court because I think that should be illegal. I mean, that kind of thing there's a flippancy to it that when you really start, as you're saying, start asking that same person, oh, that seems like it's a high motivator for you. What else do you do?
Yes.
Nothing.
Yes.
That feels like that's using that topic for some purpose of your own, and not that seems like what vain invocation of that issue is.
Yeah, your ire does little.
Yeah, and you could say this about anything, right? If I'm an anti-capital punishment, what am I doing to prevent murders, and so on and so forth, and the like. So it's
not murdering is the. Is not the answer.
Yes, I am not murdering.
Right, so I'm not knocking up ladies. So
yeah,
that's my contribution.
Well, that dove into it. Hey, on a similar note, I think MoviePass is going broke.
Yeah, but I think hang on a second.
Okay, try to get out.
You tried to pull
'Cause
out.
I think two
you
guys
tried to pull out of
I
this
tried to pull out of
conversation
this conversation
because I was just
before
going to talk
something
about
more came from it.
vasectomies.
Okay, because
Should
two
be
guys talking about abortion you can only do that for so long.
Right. So let's talk about our penises. I mean, what that would be really like, the answer to a lot of this is if the
I see.
a Christian church promoted,
Sterilization.
Where I've gone down a dark road here.
Sterilization. Well, this is the hard thing, especially. Okay, we're still back in it. But
I'm doing my part to prevent abortion because I had a vasectomy several years ago.
yeah, nice. Did you?
I did. Yeah. I can ejaculate with impunity.
Well, please don't. As a
Too late.
as a non-Catholic, Catholics are in a tough spot because their theology and their teaching and their practice is to really advocate for births.
Yeah.
I mean, they're real pro. So they're not going to go for the argument of condoms, vasectomies, or
Right.
forced sterilization of men.
Right.
Sometimes that thing only comes up where that a woman should be the one who becomes sterilized. It's real.
In case our listeners are wondering, we are fully aware that two men talking about this women's issue is completely absurd. Yes. So please, it's in the context of that. And I'm not saying this to be absurd, but we get it.
We get it.
I mean,
because at some point that issue is not just a woman's issue, right? Like I'm trying to talk about it in the angle of that involves all of us because it does.
Because of politics, and it is the a focal point for a lot of people's voting choices.
Yeah, and it's a legal determination in this country, and if men don't advocate on behalf of the issues that don't affect them in the same way, that we become a bifurcated culture.
And listen, people, it's just not all the atheists are having these abortions.
Well, there's not enough atheists to even be a markable number. Okay, so MoviePass is going broke.
We've all been vasectomized. Yes.
Yeah, they can't procreate.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. I heard about it, but
I have never given you the MoviePass pitch.
No.
It's heartbreaking to me that it's going broke. I mean, from the day that I found out about it, I thought, how is this financially sustainable? And apparently, it's not. But here's the deal: the same people that were behind Netscape, or not Netscape, same people that were behind Netflix.
Okay,
Jeez, what is it? What am I? 1996 with Michael Toy. Are you Michael Toy? The people who started Netflix were behind this MoviePass idea, where for a $10 a month subscription, you can see a movie a day in the theaters. And the technology is fantastic, John. Just the technology. Their business plan, the way they've run their company, apparently, is a disaster. But
right.
The technology is that you get a debit card from MoviePass, a Visa or maybe MasterCard debit card.
Like a physical card.
Physical card, like a real debit card that says MoviePass on it, like it would say Wells Fargo and a little thing. And
that's got to be expensive to do.
It's money on it right there. And on your app, when you're within 100 or 1,000 feet of the theater, you check into the movie that you want to go see.
Yeah.
And then they deposit the amount of money it costs to go to the movie onto that debit card.
For that movie, for that day.
An hour. And then you just pay for the movie normally. And then MoviePass pays the theater the full rate. So you buy a ticket, but you're buying a ticket with the card that has had money put on it, only to buy that movie ticket.
This sounds like something where this business plan was dependent upon a whole lot of people not using it.
Oh, absolutely. And advertising, like they want to, and the data that they're getting from you because they know where you are, when you are, what movies you're buying. Like they want all that data. But yeah, absolutely. This is a membership. All membership programs are built on people not using it. From gym memberships to church memberships to whatever, right?
Tanning
yes. Yeah, all of them. So not using it. But that technology just in and of itself, as a sort of a nerd about that stuff, is awesome. I mean, think about how you could utilize that.
Couldn't they just like send you a barcode so you wouldn't have to deal with the physical card, so you just use the barcode on your phone?
Well, what they're doing is well, but you need to transact it so that to the theater, they don't want to put any burden on the theater. This is not owned by the theaters.
Understood.
It's owned by the MoviePass company. So the theater's just like, buy a ticket. Just buy a ticket. So if I walk up, they shouldn't care what card I'm using, right? If I'm using a bank card, if I'm putting it on a...
So I guess it's not
if
like...
it's my last $12 of limit that I have on an American Express card, they shouldn't care.
I can get onto an airplane with a barcode on my phone, but I can't get into a movie.
Well...
Because they need a physical...
Well, you can't buy an airplane ticket with just a barcode. You've got to transact dollars to the airline. This process is you're buying the ticket from the theater.
All right. I'll go with it.
Right, so you're buying the ticket. So think about the technology here.
I'm just trying to save them some money. If we can get rid of this card thing, that would be...
Think about the how this becomes important, because let's say you decided you wanted to go out. Let's say you had a credit card, a debit card, and you said, I'm going to go out on Friday, and I'm going to put $150 on this card to only be used in these locations.
Right.
If you lose it, you don't have to worry about it, right? I mean, it's an incredible technology for parents to do with kids, for someone to do for their own spending. They don't have to carry anything else. They just carry the one card, and it can't be used anywhere else. Like the location-based putting money onto a debit card, like a prepaid card.
Right.
But it's reloadable all the time. That's just fantastic. So there's some real technology in there. So anyway, MoviePass has been having some trouble because they got 3 million subscribers to MoviePass. Mm-hmm. And then people start going to movies.
Yeah,
they
all
keep
want to
running
see
out of money.
Mission Impossible, whatever.
Yeah. And so they've set all that. So anyway, it's apparently it keeps having these outages. They keep running out of money. Some people keep trying to bail them out.
Are going like to the movie theater thinking that they're going to use their MoviePass, and it's being denied.
Yeah, you get that.
That would be an awkward date moment.
No movies are showing up. You can't do it. And so now AMC, the big movie crowd, they've come up with their own. That's $20 a month. But you can see 3 movies a week, but any of them. Because you can see the 3D ones, you can see the IMAX, whatever. Pay $20 and you get to see 12 movies a month for $20 a month. And, it's up. So it's an alternative, but only at AMC. The MoviePass one, I use it at all the theaters around here. I've seen so many movies because for $10, that's less money than one movie.
So
it's just too cheap.
Let me ask you this.
Anyway, it's going away. So if you're just now hearing about it, well, it may not be going away, but it was away last night and then back this morning.
You've got more energy about the MoviePass than you did have about the death penalty. I'm sure everyone else could hear that too. Did you when you heard about this? Did you look into your past and go, I am seeing 9 movies a month. This is really going to save me a lot of money. Or did it
get me to go to more movies?
Yeah, the technology or whatever.
This came about in my life. Mm-hmm. It's my testimony. Came about in my life at the same time that I was seeing a movie every Monday with my friends Chris and Ben and Steve and others. So Monday nights we had movie nights.
Not part of that list, but
have I not mentioned that to you? This is super awkward right now.
Yeah, I'll F y'all. Okay, go see your
the guys I
have
don't,
your little.
They're people I
don't
know
movie
very well.
Night. I don't care.
People I don't know very well. Well, Chris had a severe medical set of conditions and was had options to do very few things, but going to a movie while he was in a pancreas problem. We could go to movies, so we started going with Chris, and then it turned into a thing. Now he's better, and it's incredible. It's a life-saving story. But now we just like being together and going to movies. So because we were going to a movie a month, a movie a week for a month, that was costing $40 or $50. This $10 thing, and then now I'll just be like, sometimes I go to half a movie.
I got an hour to kill.
Yeah. One time I was meeting somebody over by Southdale.
It's 7:14, and I have an hour to kill.
I had an hour to kill in the afternoon, and I went in and I said, I don't know, what is that movie, The Greatest Showman? Don't know what it is.
Oh, yeah.
Went in, fell in love with it. I don't like musicals or anything. I almost left, then loved it. Saw half of it because I had to go. Came back and saw the other half later.
Did you come in, in the second part of the movie?
No, it was the start of it.
Oh, okay. All right.
I just walked in the theater and said, what movie's starting soon? And it was 2 minutes to start time for this movie. So I just went in because it's free. I mean, I'm just, it's like I can just, paying $10 a month and just being like, Movies are free to me. I'm just wandering around like a rich guy. It was awesome.
No more.
Well, they say they're raising their price to 14. Anyway, it's enough of Movie Pass. But it's a great thing. And what it's done is it's shifted. I mean, it sent a shockwave across the movie system, because the reason the theaters and the studios freaked out was they felt like it was reducing the value of a movie. They were trying to convince people that it's worth $12 or $15 to see a movie.
Oh, sure, they had different messages.
And now when this crowd comes in,
Sure,
they're like, no, it's worth $10 a month and as many as you want. That's what a movie is worth. And when 3 million moviegoers said, "Oh, we just valued a movie," and it's worked on me. I have now found myself, if I have to pay $12 for one movie, or I can pay $10 for all the movies I want to see in a month,
that's kind of a no-brainer there.
It devalued it, and that's what they freaked out about. So then they just gave in, and now all the theaters are coming up with some kind of a $10, $20, $30 a month movie. See as many as you want, or see 3 or whatever. And 3's enough, frankly. 3 a week. If you're going to see more than 3 movies a week at AMC,
yeah,
especially if
you're watching a lot of
AMC.
shitty movies.
Oh, I tell you, I've seen so many bad movies. So many bad movies. In fact, every movie except a couple have been bad movies.
Hey, Doug, I went to IKEA the other day.
How'd it go?
Really well. And we found this, had been eyeing this dining room table. We have no furniture. Which is fine with me. I'm just in my minimalist zone there, walking through my empty house. But we do need to have people over eventually. So we brought home this table, and I pull it out.
Yeah.
And so you got to build the table from the bottom up.
Well, you're an IKEA professional putting these things together. You just go at this thing like a man with a fish in water.
You just got to do it. And so I put the table. The surface side, I get it out of the box. I put the surface side down on another table. Because, you got to build the table from the bottom up, right? And it's one that had like a... I don't know that. Well, you're going to like hold this to the tabletop under you and do it like that? Come on.
I don't know. I thought maybe you put the table face down and do it that way. I don't know how to build a table.
Yeah, face...
Okay. Go ahead. No, go ahead. I was just saying, these things. I don't know these things. That's all I was saying.
This table expanded to have a leaf in it, so there was
I would never take on that project.
There was some mechanism
assembling
involved.
A table ever.
So anyway, I'm just telling you, I'm working on this table. I'm only seeing the damn bottom of it. I put the whole thing together. I flip it around. It's the wrong effing color.
No.
We pulled the wrong box off the shelf.
Because it's a do-yourself shopping experience.
Exactly. And when I pulled it out of the box, the back of the table, the underside, was facing me.
Was light brown.
Yeah, it was like some, industrial, Yeah. And then I did not look at the actual color of the table because I just grabbed it and I just set it down on the workspace. And I'm just working on the underneath. So now I got this table. It's the wrong color.
What color? Like, is it totally wrong?
Look, it's a nice table, okay, but enough of the espresso colored shit in our house.
Oh, I see.
It's espresso colored, which might be perfectly fine. I don't have a problem with that. It's just not what I wanted there.
Did you, can you not just, you have to take the whole thing apart, I'm guessing. If you want to return that tabletop for the other one, it's, you got to reverse engineer that thing into pieces?
No, you will. I mean, if you do that, you're just going to bring parts of a table back to them, because it's the furniture is. I mean, if you take all those screws out and everything and try to put it back, it's going to be a weaker thing. You can only put it together once.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, the stuff's not really meant to be.
I see.
Taken apart and. So I'll take the legs off. Okay, and I'll wrap the whole thing in shrink wrap, or that shrink wrap tape.
Yeah,
and
you're going to return the whole table.
I'm going to return the whole table.
Yeah, why even? Because you can't get it in your vehicle unless you take it apart. Just bring it in there.
Oh, that I am. I'm just going to take the legs off.
Oh, I see. Yeah. I think you're saying you were going to try to help them.
No. So anyway, then I've got to put together the new one. So it's just like, come on. I mean, it's like. I'm angry at the situation, but there's no one to blame but us. You know what I mean? It can't be like I was stupid to do that. So
Hey, here's a picture I'm showing you.
yeah, I saw
Posted
that
on Facebook.
Yeah, I saw that. I didn't understand it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll explain it to you.
Okay, please do.
So I saw this bumper sticker on the back of a car,
Mm-hmm.
and it says, "Love people?"
Yeah.
Question mark. Make them tasty food. It's a nice sentiment.
Yeah.
You know where I saw that car?
No.
In the Wendy's drive-thru when I was buying the apple pecan chicken salad. He was in front of me. So here's one of those, like, love people by making them good quality, tasty food
Yeah.
at the Wendy's drive-thru.
Well, maybe they were needing to receive some love from the Wendy's folks that
Well,
day.
I'm glad they thought that. I'm glad they thought that that's the tasty food they should get. But that thing is like totally part of the like slow food movement and make
Yeah.
it at home and don't buy the stuff, treat them well. So in my imagination, that's a guy who's driving his wife's car and she's on him all the time. And he's like, I'm swinging through there and getting myself a double cheeseburger.
Right, and I'm driving with the windows down so it doesn't smell like hamburgers in here. But honestly, when you first said that, I thought maybe it was a bumper sticker for cannibals. I didn't know. Love people.
Make them.
Make them tasty food.
Well played, my friend. Well played.
Hey, Doug,
Hey, John.
did you hear about the couple that died? And when they went into their house, where they, please forgive me,
Okay.
they're dead.
Okay.
Their mode is not important.
Okay. How they died.
They might have died in the house. I don't know. I have no idea.
Okay.
The information is available. When they went through their house, there was like
Of a dead couple.
of the dead couple.
Such a heavy show today.
There was a painting on the wall. Okay. And I guess, I don't know, maybe they had lots of fancy things or whatever, but this painting was particularly fancy.
Okay.
In fact, this painting is worth $160 million and was stolen in 1985.
I think they were dead on purpose. I think someone was looking for that. All the other things they had stolen. Where was this?
I think in New York or something like that.
Wow.
Just, yeah.
Wow.
And so somehow this unassuming couple, I mean, who knows? I mean, they may have bought it like at a pawn shop or a thrift store or something. But it was stolen in 1985, and the painting is worth $160 million. They just like had it hanging up in their dank little, Brooklyn apartment.
Hey, there's, I like to bring you some tips on self-improvement because you are such a model of life change and self-improvement.
Speaking of tips, I really wanted to talk about the story about the guy with no penis who was arrested for raping his two partners because he used a...
I don't want to talk about that story.
Okay.
So the headline for this one is Why You Lie to Yourself. I thought wow. I mean, we all do. That's a great one. But then it turns out it's in the Atlantic.
I was going to say,
it's
Doug,
way too long, and I don't want to do it because it's too long. So I'm going to stick with this one that's over at Inc.com.
that's what we...
which is six.
It's like me to talk about the guy with no penis.
Which is six surprises.
Yeah, I want to talk about that. We're not, because we're going to talk about something else.
It's too long. It's an Atlantic article, which
and
they just have to they have to drone on. I mean, I'm using Flipboard and I'm getting carpal tunnel finger by flipping through this thing. Like,
and it's just all text. There's not even anything in bold.
No bolds. No.
It's like a technical
no pop
manual.
No listlies. The Atlantic.
Yeah, come on.
Just showing off that they can write.
Put in a box with a quote in it or something so I can get the gist of this. Reading all that.
So from Inc.com, 6 surprisingly easy ways to improve your focus at work.
Oh, okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Huh? That seems like the kind of thing that would be beneficial.
Good, because I don't want to,
like 6 quick tips.
You're talking about why you lie to yourself. That's like...
A little heavy?
Well, no. You're like, the older you get, like, you're just getting mushy.
Number one
I didn't
tip.
mean to upset you by saying that, Doug.
It's okay. I'm going to hold it together. All right.
What is this? What
6 tips.
Focus at work.
Surprisingly easy ways to improve your focus at work. Like you want to improve.
Wow, that was easy.
You want to improve your focus at work, but you want the easy ways.
Yeah.
You want life change brought to you by Easy Ways.
Yeah, you don't want to actually get 7 or 8 hours of sleep. You just want to... Go ahead, Doug.
Number 1, drink more water.
Jesus Christ.
It's not. It's not. But I just think you need to drink more water.
That's not the first one.
No, it's not.
Look, people, I have been haunted. It is I'm being dead serious, an ongoing thing for me ever since he read these tips about why you're living in a constant state of dehydration. I have dreams about water.
Got right in there. It's an earworm.
It is an ear. It is an ear. I'll lie down. I'll put on my little mask. I'll put my earplugs in if I'm gonna, and then I'll be like getting ready to go to sleep, and I'll be like, you know what? I probably should drink a couple cups of water before I go to bed, so I don't want to wake up dehydrated.
All right, so it's not. I know that really crept in and got to you, so God. I just can't stop thinking about it. All right, so 6 surprisingly easy tips to improve.
I go home feeling guilty because I haven't drinking an 8-ounce glass of water every hour that day.
I know.
I'll come back and I'll do an inventory of how much water I drank today, and I'm really down.
Well, have you noticed any improvement? Do you feeling better? Do you have more mental clarity, more energy? You got anything going on?
I never hit it. I never do it consistently enough to probably reap any benefits from it.
I see. Well, we got to get through these quick.
You see my skin gets
not
clear,
only are we an hour and 10 minutes on the stream and podcast, but I have a physical therapy appointment in 10 minutes. For my hip, which I'll tell you, I mean, I've been working on this hip. I had hip surgery a year ago, and I've been really intensely for the last 4 months.
Yeah.
And God bless those people who have to work on much more significant issues to overcome than I am. I feel like I'm at the Courage Center all the time doing these little movements that I can't do.
Yeah.
Like lift your foot and just tap out to the side and bring it back. And I can't anymore. It hurts like 12, and I have to stop. It's incredible, re-strengthening this hip. So these little, you know what I wish there was? 6 surprisingly easy tips to strengthening your hip.
I'm sure There's not. There's not?
But there are 6 surprisingly easy ways to improve your focus at work.
Well, now I feel bad for snickering because you had a physical therapy appointment because you're obviously struggling with this.
Number 1, schedule 15 and 45-minute meetings instead of the standard 30, 60, and 90-minute meetings. By scheduling 15 and 45-minute meetings, this person has found that it can ensure that participants keep the agenda tight and focus on the critical issues at the end of time. So short, if somebody says we need to have an hour meeting, say let's make it 45. If someone says let's schedule a half an hour meeting, tell them you want it for 15 minutes, and you'll cut out all the other work, and you'll get it done because you really only needed 15 minutes. Kind of your lovemaking rule brought to work. Shorten it down.
If you can't get it done in 15 minutes, then...
Jeez. Number 2, commit to resisting one distraction a day.
But 45 minutes, that's a good time.
That's very, very wide, baby.
Yeah.
Commit, tip number 2, to a surprisingly easy way to improve your focus at work. Commit to resisting one distraction.
Commit to resisting one distraction.
Pick a distraction that you know is prominent for you.
Yeah.
And commit yourself to eliminating that one. What will I do? To commit sitting through a meeting without checking your phone, say, would be a good idea. Or if you're in a meeting and you feel the urge to commit to commit to fighting that one urge, you really feel like you're accelerating your performance, and it adds to it. So once you resist that one distraction, it lets you free.
Yeah, one of my supervisors.
I don't think that's a good one. I don't think
had gotten a talking to because he was always on his computer at meetings. They're like, you just don't look like you're engaged, and so now he's at meetings and he's just like a little kid, you
know what he needs? He needs to just eliminate that one distraction and let it free him up. Number 3, schedule at least one 30-minute email break. Shut email off. You're not checking it for a half an hour. And don't do it during one of those 15-minute meetings. Let that be one of those. In another time where you're not doing anything else, you have a chance to think, you have a chance to get things done. Give yourself 30 or even 60 minutes without checking the messages.
You'd think that would be a simple endeavor, but I think a lot of people work in front of a bank of computer monitors. I do, and so it's just a screen's constantly open.
That would seem nearly impossible.
Yeah,
in most of my workday, the panic would, but it would. It's a surprisingly easy way to improve my focus at work. Number 4, delete your emails. Don't leave them hanging around in there. Deal with them and get done with them.
Yeah.
Experts recommend immediately deleting any email that doesn't directly impact your future work. Start small. Try deleting a handful of communiques that you've kept as your own personal little FYIs, for example, and store the information somewhere else, not in your email list, because then it just seems like I got a huge pile. It takes up your brain space. Number 5, use video for phone calls. I try this a lot. I push people all the time to video calls. Keeps them focused, because then I can tell when they're checking email.
Yeah.
As soon as their microphone goes on mute on a Zoom meeting,
right,
and I can hear that they're not. I just never mind. Touch the keyboard and it stopped the recording. But we're back.
Okay.
So when people are tapping their emails, yeah. And number 6, you can do this one. You should start with number 6. This is like building the table from the ground up.
Thanks.
Take 2 deep breaths. Shelley would concur with this one. If you've already developed a regular meditation habit, have you?
No.
Well, when you do, I'll say congratulations.
Thanks.
But for the rest of us who have not developed the meditation habit, when you're feeling unfocused, try to sit and take 5 full breaths. Now, that's a little difficult, so start with 2. Deep breaths lower your blood pressure, help clear your mind. Now, they're not really clearing your thoughts, but they're allowing new oxygen to come in, giving you a restart, both of which lead to lower stress in the workplace. I'm doing it right now.
I do think a good stretch is good.
I feel the same way. And so is a good trip to the restroom. I have felt just more refreshed after a full release than almost anything else.
When I worked midnights, it was easy just to go into the restroom and do what you have to do. But now that there's like 200 people in the building during the day, finding an available crapper has become a task.
Huh.
Yeah.
We should put all those tips together. Deep breathing.
Yeah.
When you're thinking, don't have your email.
Take a good shit.
I mean, I don't want to get too crass and personal. But when you're at work, just at work, and you're going to go to the bathroom, the restroom,
right?
Do you bring your phone with you?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're on it all the time, right?
When I'm in the bathroom,
Yeah,
I'm never on it when I'm at my desk.
Yeah, because you're working.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's your break time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, good morning, John.
Good morning, Doug.
We done? Hour and 17 minutes?
Yeah. What happened there?
This is what happens when we think we don't have enough material.
Yeah.
We just ramble.
We just ran up. Yeah.
Then we start talking about, hot button issues. Hot button. Isn't that a great phrase? Hot button issues?
Yeah.
I've always
things
wanted,
get hot.
Yeah. Is the button hot?
Yeah.
Or is it a button that opens, that...
Well, I think you feel like it might be hot. If you touch that, it's going to burn you.
Yeah, I see. Don't touch that hot button. I've never seen a hot button.
No, boy.
What button? Well, maybe, you know what I have? On an elevator.
A hot button on an elevator?
Yep. If you walk up to an elevator and it's like you're going to go up and the up button's already pushed and it's got the little white light to show that it's pushed, put your finger on there.
That sucker's hot, huh?
It's a hot button.
Boy.
Who knew? Now, maybe not in the future when they have LEDs in there instead of whatever.
Would you really want to be like in an enclosed space when there's like, some button malfunctioning?
Goodbye, John.
Bye, Doug. Bye, America. The space station. Did we have the right mic settings on for that?
Oh, God.
Huh? Or does it just sound like it's just in the room? Did you flip that switch beforehand? You did it, did you?
Do you remember at one point that I reached up there and reached up to the screen?
No.
Well, I did. When you go back and watch the video, you'll see.
Oh, because
I was double checking.
What? Minute 52?
No, it might have been 18 minutes in. I thought to myself, which is such a funny phrase. I thought to myself.
To whom else? Not.
Whom else do you think to?
Exactly.
Some of those people will say that what they mean to say, I think, is I was saying in my head, but they'll say like I was thinking in my head. Mm-hmm. Which I think is always cute when people say that.
Yeah,
because that's I don't know. I guess maybe philosophically someone would say, well, you do have brain receptors all over your body and you could be thinking from your gut. But I think what they mostly are trying to say is they were just having a thought in there. So I was thinking to myself, or like when people say, I was saying to myself the other day, self.
Mm-hmm.
But I was wondering, boy, did I confirm iPad setting and not Mevo setting to make sure that it was coming through the microphones? And it was right, but I did double check.
Yeah.
Well, so I'm not going to take your your comments of my of all that I have to do here and my failure to complete task.
That what makes it preposterous because I do nothing.
I will not take this.
You've got like have to have octopus arms to control this whole.
My own little space station.
Yeah.
Do you know what we have as a feature on here? And I forgot until actually right when I reached up and did that, I remembered. Spreaker, the system that I use to deliver these podcasts, has a live podcast feature.
Okay.
So right now we're live streaming the video.
Yeah.
But people could listen live
on their
and then I don't have to do any post-production at all. As soon as you're done, you say done, and the podcast is just there. But right now what I have to do is click export and export this file out and then bring the file back.
Oh, right, because it's not only is it being transmitted by Spreaker, but it'll save it.
It's just being saved, and there it is. The podcast is done. You can't do any post-production. That's why people wouldn't want to do it most normally, but because we don't do any post-production
right.
on this.
This is improv.
Because we're just, unwilling.
Well, I mean,
that's what it is.
I think we explained that we've got a lot going on.
There's a good reason for us to be unwilling, but it's just that.
Right.
Just I don't want to spend the time doing it. Yeah, it's why I don't care that there's crabgrass in my yard.
Man, I got the creeping. The whole backyard is taken over by that stuff. Yeah, I'm going to have to use poisons.
If anyone is still listening at an hour and 21 minutes, you should message either one of us, and I will send you a gift.
Yeah.
So literally, if you're listening to this right now, message at on Facebook or Doug@DougPadgett.com or just Padgett@gmail.
And say, I want the gift.
I want the gift. I listened all the way. I heard it all the way to the end.
Give me the gift.
And the only reason is because I was driving on a long trip and my phone fell down between my seat and I couldn't get it out and I couldn't stop the podcast.
Yeah,
I don't care what the reason.
Yeah.
If you're listening now, we should do that at the end of every episode. Message us if you've listened all the way to the end. We'll shut off the live stream like we did.
Yep.
And it's a podcast only bonus.
And we'll give you like a word or a number or something like that. So
hey, what is our word or number that they should have to? Well, maybe this one's enough.
Yeah, this one will be a freebie because but once word gets out.
Because people will now, if they listen to this one, they don't have to the others, and they'll just. I say, boy, look at you went right into like how to block the cheaters. That mind of yours instantly went to someone's going to cheat us. I love it.
I just want to keep it going.
It's incredible.
That's all.
Yeah, what should we send them?
Boy, I thought you had something in mind. I don't know what.
I do. I had a couple things in mind, but it's usually like old books of mine that are back in the storage closet.
That's what I was afraid of.
But they're a little expensive. Maybe
I have a brand new, unused a scalp massager that I will commit to this package. Okay. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those metal things that goes on your.
No.
Yeah. They're splendid.
Yeah, we should start some episodes with that. Mm-hmm. Just giving ourselves a little brain tickle.
It is. It's a
brain giggle.
But I will. I mean,
that's a nice thing for somebody.
Now that we told them what I was going to give them, now they might be like, "Oh, I don't want your damn scalp massager. I'm not going to participate."
Well, they can send us a note and just say, "I did listen to the end," and keep your scalp toucher to yourself.
Okay.
Now, it's just now dawned on me, what if 2 people listened all the way to the end?
Oh, really? It just now dawned on you?
Yeah, because I don't think anyone's listening all the way to the end. I think it's 0 people.
Well, there's hundreds and hundreds of people who actually watch this, and there might be as many who listen to the podcast.
Well, I know there's people who listen to the podcast.
I don't got 100 scalp massagers.
At an hour,
it'll be the first person.
The first person, yeah. I was just saying at an hour 21, they've stopped. That was my point. Right. I'm not saying they don't download. I'm not saying they don't listen. They probably didn't even get to the tips, or the abortion conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Probably just left it at I don't know, wherever we talked about an hour and 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, but check out that guy with the no penis story. That's really great.
On your own time. Hey, and we should say, Mike Stavlin is ineligible for the head massager.
Why is that?
He's so faithful. He listens. All the way. That's
Now he's going to be WTF.
It's zero people plus Mike.
Yeah.
He's. I bet he listens.
He might need a good scalp.
Yeah, that's
massage.
true. If it's okay. Mike's eligible.
Got like a bunch of preteen girls right now. Gosh.
Oh, but who listens?
No, his kids.
Oh,
Yeah.
he has preteen girls.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were saying we're acting like a bunch of preteen girls.
No. Okay.
Yeah, he's got.
I don't feel bad about that.
Goodbye, John.
Bye.